Issue kwa wogen am ready bononga. Issue wutu. Issue kuwa. When you say I'm insulting you, I'm cursing you, the highest cause is unkwa. May you die. Issue wogen Issue wutu. Why we are gathered here to dine and wine and listen is to formulate. He said we will release a communique. Formulate a policy trust that will catapult our people home to go and implement what we saw in South Africa. If we went to America, they will say we are talking white man's thing. But you have come to South Africa, where we help black people, a black nation, and see how they are. In fact, as we are sitting here, I'm so sure that in the next 2 hours, this electricity will still be here. What causes ethnic rivalry and the problems of inter-ethnic relationship? It is scarcity of resources. Our people are poor. Our people are hungry in the midst of plenty. Why? Because the Igbo people, even in South Africa here, allow their worsts to lead their bests. One of the things we must copy from South Africa, yes. One of the things we must copy from these South Africans is to make sure that the best of our children lead the rest of us. Igbo is to strive, our professors, our intellectuals, our opinion leaders. You must rise in your individual places to make sure that in your families, in your hamlets, in your community meetings, whether you like the boy or not, whether he is tall like a Jimon or short like TJ, make sure that the best of us always leads the rest of us. That is the best thing this country did. When you see when they rally around their leaders, they see themselves as weak. They see themselves as facing a bigger challenge. They look at themselves, they say, no, we are blacks, we are down. We can't fight this white person or this person. But this our brother knows. All of them will rally around them. That is the first step South Africans did. What the white man does that makes his companies last for 100 years, 200 years, for instance, things like Chamberlain, is because when they get the company, in their retirement, they don't say, SMY is my first son, TJ is my first son. They look for their best children who understand and master that business and hand them over as the leaders of that industry. By so doing, the rest of the children will continue to benefit. That is what the Igbo man in South Africa must take home. Many of my brothers here, including him, Ejimado, they have asked me and I've agreed not to continue crying and whining, to go and form a Mandela Mbeki groomed government in Igbo land. The next thing South Africans did was they drafted a constitution that gave them right, that strengthened their systems, not individuals, that brought in devolution of powers, where somebody can decide to say, you know what, they're messing up in the country, but my municipality is okay. By so doing, service delivery is driven down. Somebody in Oshobo will not cry too much because somebody from Gwagwalada is seizing power and doing what they like at the center. Because their people will still get medicine, get electricity, get water at their own pace. The challenge of the Igbo man is that he has not been allowed to increase, develop, advance at his own pace. The Igbo man is reacting wrongly. The Igbo man is forced to react wrongly. The Igbo man is currently reacting wrongly, and because the Igbo man is reacting wrongly, the rest of Nigeria is suffering. Other nations like Germany took advantage of their civil war. We are not the only people who fought civil war. No, but we cannot continue to cry. What do we now do? South Africans, rise. Send your children home. Support them. Don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to how they painted the picture of impossibility. Professor Francis Nwang, I know you will be very, very happy on earth to see that a boy who understands what you understood in Pretoria, who understands the systems in South Africa, became a chief executive in a state in Nigeria in your lifetime? Professor Kenneth Ozemena, all the energies you have spent to train other people's children from other nations, I know you will be very, very happy when the best of us are placed ahead of the rest of us. And people like you are recognized for what you contribute to the world. And you are given an opportunity to replicate what you have inside you for the Igbo boy, for the Igbo girl, in your lifetime. Let us not stop at wishful thinking. Let us take action. They have made us to believe that even as you are the leader of the people in the Metro Mall, that you have no power. It is not true. It is not true. Let all the people in South Africa begin to know that the same way you send money for university education, there are spheres of influence you can talk to. Begin to talk to our people. Let our people understand that they are suffering. They don't know that they are suffering. When you ask an educated boy like me, educated young man in Nigeria, what is politics? He tell you politics is to follow charm and collect money. But when a lot of us, the people from America has ruled. People from London has gone to try. But we from South Africa, we have not ruled Nigeria. Those from Ghana joined Azikiwe and ruled Nigeria. Those from US went with Obasanjo. Those from London went with Shagari. South Africa is the next place that Igbo people migrated en mass. And the Kahaba Jiribia, with the Henny line now, I attribute. We need to go home. Not that I have money, bags of money. No, not that type. Collective movement to escalate the momentum to change. We call it diaspora mobilization for local what? Impact. Otherwise, in the next 5 years, if you invite me, I may not come. It is not about Iriji to gather to talk. No, let us act. If Azikiwe and Co, Nkrumah and all these people can stay in faraway America and say that Africa must be free, and they came and were able to achieve independence, it is not a rocket science for us to remove our brothers who are misadministering our place. We can challenge them. With what we have seen here, we have the power to uproot them. So all of you must rise. I came to this country and saw that somebody without a father can go to school and become a PhD holder. Professor Kenneth, you have students like that who don't have fathers, but they're PhD holders. Their mother has never paid before. Or why may I be a well better? That is why I have come for this lecture. South Africa made sure that they did what we call enculturation. When they come here, they don't say state of origin. If you are born in Soweto, they ask you where are you from. You say from Soweto. That is why a man like Paul Mashatile, that is why a man like Sam Shelowa, that is why a man like Tokyo Sekwale, these people could come and say we are premiers of Gauteng province. Whereas in our own Igbo enclave, a man from Abia is chasing home a man from Imo State, from civil service. Somebody from Lagos deported somebody from Anambra in the same country. Why is it that a Fulani man who has spent 70 years in Enugu will not be a premier, a mayor, or even a governor? That is what is happening in South Africa. That's why their own is different. Why will a Limpopo person fight the premier of Gauteng when David Makura originated from there? These are the things we begin to do. But how do we do it? At this level, I'm saying it is still theory. How do you do it? When you begin to send people who understand these things to be in power, to be at the table where these things will be discussed. That's why I'm calling you people. You send people like me who have gone, who have seen. I will go there and with, just like what Ezenwa did. When Ohanes and Igbo started, people were laughing. But today, look at us. It's a gradual process that takes consistency, clear vision. You go to Imo State that is prided in academics, knowledge, industry. Then you take the scum of the society and put them in the lead. Then you want to receive a result that looks like where Henry Kissinger is the president of Imo State. No, it won't work. I came here to add value. I came to stimulate you. I came to get you angry. So that you begin to think. What goes around comes around. And you cannot say because I'm from Delta, I'm from Enugu, our own is better. What are you? So, what do we do? What do we do? South Africans, while they have refused to allow you to vote, they will never block you from mobilizing. What else did they do here? There is equitable distribution of. You remember when people oppose Zuma, you don't see only us opposing Zuma. You see Zulus from his own village opposing him. That's why in Nigeria we want to see where somebody from Daura will tell President Buhari, this one you didn't get it right. We don't want ethnic champions. Nigeria, by virtue, by faith, it's a good bargain. It gives us power. It gives us leverage. Even Azikiwe, who was the founding father of the independent Nigeria, wanted a bigger country than Nigeria. He went to America. He saw a vision. It gives us bigger negotiating power. Our children are suffering, and they will suffer. But for the Igbo man, I want to tell you, there is a great future for you. There is great future for the Igbo man. The Igbo man is all over the world. You can't stop him. It is too late. You can't beat the Igbo man. It's too late. It's impossible. But what we want to do, we want to use the strength of the Igbo man to bless Nigeria and bless West Africa and Africa in general. How do you do it? From your town unions here, place your. You see the way we put Wenike? When you find the best, don't say his mother is from Andoni, his father is from this. Place the best of us to lead the rest of us in every circumstance. I want to, let me show also that I'm an intellectual. And when you go to Ahmad, you can see that this man is a trader. No. Yes, I'm an Igbo boy. I grew up in Asuka. I'm a master's degree here. I'm a master's degree in business administration. Very soon, I see my classmate there. Very soon, all at university. By this time, by December, by this date of December, I'm going to get a PhD. So, now, let me talk like an intellectual. The things we must do as Nigerians, number one, the South Africans made sure that their constitution is all-encompassing. It came from bottom up, not the one that was imposed by a military. It was discussed by the people. And our people are always afraid when you tell them that the people must discuss. They think it will produce a dangerous thing. No, it will always produce the best. Now, in South Africa, they don't segregate the people unjustly. They don't discriminate unjustly. When a child is going to vie for a position in the university, they don't ask him, what is your state of origin? What is your local government of origin? By so doing, the productivity of the country goes down. And let me tell you people today, one of the menacing challenges is that, and Nigerians as well, in the whole Africa, in the whole world, I think it is only the Igbo people who has been placed against an unfair affirmative action, who did not have earlier undue advantage over their contemporaries. If you come to South Africa, the Thabo Mbeki government made sure they did broad-based economic empowerment because the black people were excluded from economic activities to the top. But in Igbo land, I did not see the war. I did not fight the war. I lived with Yusuf in my yard. I went to school with him. I scored 70 marks. Yusuf scores 20. You take Yusuf to school. You did not allow me to go to the school. You say I'm from Imo State. I managed to find another way. I go to school, I come back. I go to interview. You take Yusuf because he scored 2 marks and I scored 30 marks. You didn't tell me because I'm from Imo State. Yusuf becomes a police officer. I become a street person with my master's degree. I'm riding Okada. Then I become a criminal. Yusuf becomes a commissioner of police. When we were in school, I was teaching Yusuf. When Yusuf becomes a commissioner, I will still defeat him. If I'm a thief, if I decide to go to the underworld, I was teaching Yusuf in my class. All the exams I beat him. You appoint Yusuf, police commissioner eventually. I become the head of underworld. I will defeat Yusuf. That is why Nigeria is doing what? Going back. When you place your best children behind, your country goes back. So let the Igbo man start it from their home. Let us not come to Hannes and Igbo to contest for president, and Jonas Udeji and the Jimad, the Supreme Secretary, will stop me. Let them begin to learn that, no, let us put Welike. He can do this thing. By putting Welike, we build unity. By putting Welike, we advance the Igbo cause. If we do it in our villages, in South Africa, we do it in our villages, we do it in the states. If I become the leader in Imo State, I will make sure whatever happens in South Africa, where I have served other people, happens to my people. I will be troubled. I will be troubled because for many years, I know that when a person like Professor Francis Nwonwu walks into the hospital, he doesn't need to pay. I will not feel bad about it. I will go and procure the medicines and treat him. I will know that those who go, do you know that in this country, people who go in the public sector to deliver children, even if their wives are using CS, they don't pay a cent. I'm a member of the executive committee of the biggest hospital in this country. Ibo Gwedu, Ibo Gwedu, Ibo Mwadu, Ibo Zodu, Ibo Wurede, Ibo Tonu Migirigio.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you kindly. Thank you so much. Please may you get seated. Let's make progress, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make progress. Let's make progress. We are running against time. Senator Ikereman has joined us online. If you definitely would have seen him on our Zoom link. And